Bit everybody. Right now, though, let's talk about how much the Bills are worth. If you've bought tickets lately, you certainly know, we'll head forward here, you certainly know that the price tag is going up as the franchise is considered more and more valuable the better the team performs on the field. Well, now we're getting a clearer picture of just how much more valuable the team is compared to when Terry Pegula bought the Bills years ago. So he paid $1.4 billion back in 2014. Sportico's brand new valuations show the team is now worth $4.13 billion. And take a look at this. It was actually up 38% over just last year. Move on here if we can. Fourth highest in the league. Only you can see there the Lions, the Bengals, and the Raiders had a higher year-to-year percentage increase. Joining us live right now to talk about this is our Bills and NFL insider Vic Carucci. Vic, thanks so much for coming on. Good to see you as always.
My pleasure, Michael.
All right, so the Bills now worth $4.13 billion. It was interesting, this valuation just a year ago had them slightly under $3. So more than $1 billion increase in value in a single year, which is just astonishing. What do you make of the numbers as you see them now, and the fact that the Bills had the fourth highest year-to-year increase?
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes about the NFL, more than it does specifically about the Bills. Being an NFL franchise is kind of a license to print money. It is the brand, and the brand is booming and just continues to boom year after year. So this is more a reflection of that than anything else. But it is interesting that, this quote small market team has seen that kind of increase, but it doesn't shock me. And I think it's only going to get higher.
When we talk about the valuation of a team, Vic, it especially comes into play when a team is sold, right? And when one is sold, it sort of raises the value of all the other ones because these numbers are so astronomical, right? And instead of being this sort of esoteric thing, it actually is on pen and paper. The Bills right now have, the owner, Terry Pegula, is up in age. We know there are health concerns surrounding his wife. How do you see the value of the team going up so dramatically, impacting sort of the longer term prospects of the team?
Yeah. I mean, you can't ignore that it's possible that it would make more sense for Terry or his family to consider the possibility of selling the club. Now, I don't say that to create panic. The team is having as we speak, a new stadium is being built. A lease has been signed. I think all the steps have been taken to keep them here. But in terms of the business part of this and ownership, he paid, like you say, $1.4 billion for a franchise that really could be fast approaching $5 billion. What a return on investment. And again, I don't see that slowing down. And it is like the comps that you look for when homes are being sold. You had a franchise in Washington sell for $6+ billion. You had one in Denver sell for $4+ billion recently. That has impacted all of this. So given what we see of the Bills, also that overage story, the $300 million, which I think is probably a low number for the cost of the stadium that Terry Pegula is on the hook for, that's something to consider. The price of the seat licenses and all that's going to go into the fan experience in terms of those costs and how that's going to affect the business, that's something to look at too. So he's sitting on something that is extremely profitable. The question is, how much longer does he want to do that, or does he want to hand it off to someone else? You can't ignore that.
Yeah, the other thing I think you can't ignore, Vic, is people are going to watch right now and say, all right, this team was purchased for $1.4 billion. It's worth $2.5 billion more than that. That's essentially money in the pocket of the owner, at least theoretically, and yet taxpayers are paying for the vast, vast majority of this brand new stadium. Explain to us how, obviously that is infuriating to a lot of people, but that's just the reality of the way the NFL operates, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we are talking about a valuation. It's not a sale. So in terms of the investment, nothing's changed from that standpoint. But I get it for sure. But in terms of small market versus big market trends, the trend is that there is going to be more taxpayer involvement in the purchase of the building of a new stadium. That is how it goes. And what will be interesting is what that final overage price tag is, because
Oh, yeah.
Again, when you're talking 300 million or maybe up to 500 million dollars, and then the whole price tag for the stadium comes out to like 2 billion, and he's funding a good portion of that. That's something to consider. My bigger thought is what the price will be to attend the games when we get to 2026 or beyond, or whenever this thing is built.
No doubt about that. Our Bills and NFL insider Vic Carucci. Thanks for talking us through this, Vic. Good to see you.
My pleasure, Michael.